Imagine if I told you that Gene Hackman, one of Hollywood's iconic legends, and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were discovered dead in a scenario so perplexing it stumped even the most experienced investigators. This isn't your typical celebrity tragedy. It's a gripping puzzle that has the world wondering what truly unfolded in that remote New Mexico house. On February 26, 2025, the entertainment industry reeled from the shocking news that Gene Hackman, 95, and his wife Betsy Arakawa, 64, were found dead in their secluded Santa Fe home. What started as a routine wellness check swiftly morphed into a baffling enigma, leaving investigators and fans desperate for clarity. Maintenance workers, concerned after days of silence from the couple, arrived to ensure their safety, only to stumble upon a scene that defied logic. The house stood silent, with no evidence of a break-in or disturbance. Locked doors, unbroken windows, and an orderly interior painted a serene picture, yet it clashed starkly with the chilling discovery within. Hackman and Betsy were found in separate parts of the home, their bodies bearing no obvious signs of injury. At first, it might have appeared as a sorrowful but natural conclusion for an aging couple. However, as investigators dug deeper, the pieces refused to fit. Betsy's body showed advanced decomposition, hinting she'd been gone for days before the discovery. This immediately sparked suspicion. How could she have been dead for so long while Hackman, described as remarkably fit for his 95 years, was found alongside her? Friends and witnesses painted him as lively and engaged, a man who embraced Pilates and yoga with vigor. His daughter Leslie had recently called him spry and sharp. So what led to his abrupt demise, and why did their timelines of death diverge so dramatically? The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office quickly labeled the death suspicious, zeroing in on the absence of trauma and the perplexing decomposition gap. Investigators scoured the home for answers, hunting for anything that might shed light on the couple's final days. Could it have been an unseen danger like carbon monoxide? Or perhaps a hidden medical crisis that struck them both? The lack of obvious clues only thickened the plot. The couple's reclusive existence added another layer of intrigue. Far from Hollywood's spotlight, Hackman and Betsy had carved out a quiet haven in Santa Fe. Their home was a retreat where he pursued woodworking and painting, and she nurtured her love of music. But this solitude also meant few eyes were on them in their last moments. What transpired behind those walls, and how did it go unnoticed until it was too late? As the investigation pressed on, questions multiplied faster than answers. The timeline became the case's linchpin. How could Betsy have been dead for days while Hackman lived on? Did he pass naturally after her death, or was something darker at work? The sheriff's office stayed mum, revealing only that the case was a top priority. Autopsies and toxicology tests were underway, though results would linger in the distance. For now, the world waits, caught between mourning and fascination. The deaths of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa have unleashed a torrent of speculation and sorrow. Fans grieve a cinematic titan, while others fixate on the enigma of his final chapter. One truth stands clear: this is no ordinary celebrity farewell. It's a riddle that has seasoned detectives stumped, and its resolution may be a long time coming. Gene Hackman wasn't merely a Hollywood star, he was a titan of the craft. Over a career stretching more than 5 decades, he carved an unforgettable legacy, clinching 2 Academy Awards and delivering powerhouse performances in films like The French Connection, Unforgiven, and The Conversation. His knack for portraying raw, intricate characters cemented his status as a cinematic giant, influencing actors and directors long after his final scene. Yet, in 2004, at the peak of his renown, Hackman stunned the industry by stepping away from it all. Choosing retirement, he settled into a serene existence in Santa Fe, New Mexico, alongside his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Their home transformed into a haven, a retreat where Hackman swapped scripts for paintbrushes and chisels. He dove into painting, woodworking, and even penned several novels showcasing a creative spark that transcended the screen. Those who knew him spoke of a man reveling in his quieter years, finding fulfillment in life's simpler joys. At 95, Hackman defied the frailties of age with astonishing vigor. Regular Pilates and yoga kept him agile, a feat that astonished those around him. His daughter, Leslie, called him spry and sharp, a dynamo whose energy belied his years. "Dad was a whirlwind," Leslie said in a heartfelt tribute. "You'd never guess he was in his 90s. He was always tinkering with a new painting or crafting something in his workshop. He never lost that spark. That vitality makes his sudden death all the more confounding. If Hackman was thriving, what cut his life short? Could it have been the heartbreak of losing Betsy, his companion of over 30 years? Or was there an unseen culprit, a silent illness, a quirk of their environment, or something entirely unforeseen? The enigma of his passing deepens the intrigue, leaving both admirers and investigators grasping for clarity. Yet Hackman's legend endures undimmed. Beyond his roles, he embodied a rare genuineness in a world often dismissed as shallow. His choice to exit Hollywood on his terms and embrace a life of understated grace struck a chord, showing that real triumph lies not in fame or riches, but in the imprint you leave behind. As the world grieves, one truth shines through. Gene Hackman's remarkable journey will echo through the ages. Still, the mystery of his final chapter underscores a humbling truth. Even icons are mortal, their tales sometimes veering into the inexplicable. Betsy Arakawa may have flown under the public's radar, but she was a force of nature in her own sphere. A gifted classical pianist, she crossed paths with Hackman in the 1980s and quickly became his anchor. Those close to them credit her with fueling his well-being and contentment, guiding him through his Hollywood exit with grace. Their bond stood out as a Hollywood rarity, a steadfast partnership enduring over 30 years. Yet her sudden death has unleashed a flood of questions. Why did she slip away days before Hackman? And how did their isolated life in Santa Fe shape this haunting turn of events? The timeline of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths stands as the most bewildering piece of this puzzle, leaving both investigators and the public grappling for answers. Early reports hint that Betsy may have passed days before Hackman, yet the reasons behind this gap remain cloaked in uncertainty. How could a couple, bound by home and heart for over 30 years, meet their ends days apart in such strange circumstances? The burning question is, what unfolded in their final days? Could Hackman, Viber at 95, have simply surrendered to natural causes after losing Betsy, his cornerstone? Friends and family paint them as inseparable, with Betsy's steady presence fueling his vitality. Her sudden death might have shattered him, a blow too heavy even for his resilient spirit. But this theory, though compelling, stumbles on the timeline. If Betsy had been gone for days, why wasn't Hackman discovered sooner? Why no trace of panic or a call for help? This opens the door to a darker possibility. Could something more ominous have been at work? Investigators are digging into every lead, ruling nothing out. They're probing the home for hidden threats. Carbon monoxide perhaps, or other silent killers. They're also weighing health factors, though Hackman's active life and recent good health cast doubt on that path. Might an unnoticed condition have struck them both, or does an undiscovered element lurk in the shadows? The couple's secluded existence only muddies the waters further. Their Santa Fe sanctuary, a refuge from prying eyes, offered peace but left few clues. With no neighbors or onlookers to mark their last moments, the days between Betsy's death and Hackman stretch into an eerie void. Did he reach out in vain, or was he oblivious to her fate? The silence breeds more questions than answers. Toxicology results promise some clarity, but they're still on the horizon. For now, investigators stitch together what they can. Betsy's advanced decomposition points to days of death before discovery, while Hackman's body tells a fresher tale. This jarring divide has branded the case suspicious, though authorities tread cautiously, avoiding rash theories. The timeline lingers as a haunting enigma. Was this a cruel twist of fate? A poignant case of two lives so entwined that one faded without the other? Or does a grimmer truth await? As the probe presses on, one fact holds firm. The riddle of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's final days remains unsolved. Until the fog lifts, the world is left to ponder what really happened in that hushed Santa Fe retreat. Those closest to Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa are grappling with bewilderment and loss. Dennis Quaid, a longtime friend, recalled speaking with Hackman just 3 days before his passing. He sounded fantastic, Quaid said. He was excited about a new woodworking project. Nothing suggested trouble. Leslie Hackman, choked with emotion, portrayed her father as a man who flourished in his twilight years, thanks largely to Betsy. She was his anchor, his champion, his everything, Leslie said. None of us can wrap our heads around this. The Santa Fe community reels from the loss, deeply touched despite the couple's preference for a low profile. Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa had woven themselves into the town's fabric, cherished for their quiet support of local education and arts initiatives. Near their home, a makeshift memorial has blossomed, adorned with flowers and heartfelt notes from residents honoring the pair who made Santa Fe their refuge. Hollywood luminaries have joined the chorus of grief, with Francis Ford Coppola hailing Hackman as one of our finest actors and truest souls. As the investigation into Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's deaths presses forward, forensic experts caution that the delayed discovery of their bodies may muddy the waters. Dr. Eleanor Garrison, a seasoned forensic pathologist, elaborated on the challenges ahead. Time is rarely an ally in cases like this, she noted. Decomposition and environmental factors can degrade vital evidence, obscuring the precise cause of death and complicating the timeline. She emphasized that the longer bodies go undiscovered, the more difficult it becomes to pinpoint whether natural causes, toxins, or other elements were at play. The Santa Fe County Medical Examiner's Office is casting a wide net, exploring possibilities from sudden health failures to subtle environmental hazards like carbon monoxide. Yet, with each passing day, the trail grows colder and definitive answers remain frustratingly out of reach. For now, the truth hovers just beyond grasp, locked in a tangle of science and speculation. Gene Hackman's legacy stands as a towering monument in the annals of cinema. Born in 1930 in San Bernardino, California, he emerged from modest roots, a child of the Great Depression who worked odd jobs before finding his calling in acting. His ascent to Hollywood's upper echelon was no fluke. It was forged through raw talent and an unrelenting work ethic. From his breakout role in Bonnie and Clyde to his Oscar-winning turns in The French Connection and Unforgiven, Hackman embodied a rare blend of grit and grace, earning him reverence as one of the industry's most authentic voices. His performances weren't just memorable, they were masterclasses in bringing flawed human characters to life, resonating with audiences and inspiring generations of actors. Yet for all his accolades, Hackman's later years in Santa Fe with Betsy Arakawa revealed the man behind the myth. Their quiet life together was a deliberate pivot from the glitz of Tinseltown, rooted in values he held dear: integrity over celebrity, depth over dazzle. In their secluded adobe retreat, he traded the spotlight for a workbench and canvas, crafting furniture and painting landscapes, while Betsy filled the air with her piano melodies. It was a chapter that spoke to his essence, a man who, after conquering Hollywood, chose to live on his own terms, grounded by love and simplicity. Now, as the world mourns his loss, the enigma of his final days casts a poignant shadow. That a titan like Hackman, vibrant at 95, tethered to a partner of over 3 decades, could slip away under such mysterious circumstances underscores a humbling truth. Even legends are mortal. Their stories, no matter how extraordinary, can end in chapters that resist neat conclusions. The unanswered questions swirling around his and Betsy's deaths serve as a stark reminder that beneath the accolades and the larger-than-life roles, Hackman was human, susceptible to the same uncertainties that touch us all. His legacy endures unshaken, but the mystery of his exit leaves us wrestling with the limits of understanding, even for those who seemed invincible. If this tale has gripped your imagination, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for deeper dives into the stories that shape our world. What's your standout Gene Hackman moment? Maybe a favorite film or a scene that stuck with you? Drop it in the comments below as we honor the remarkable life and enduring legacy of this singular talent. Thanks for joining us.